All right, part two, purpose driven. So where I left off, talking about the company employee dynamic, for the company CEO being the man, the husband, and the employee being the wife, or permanent employment, i.e., to be a wife. And not every employee is fit for every company's position. And where I left off before, I was talking about how in today's world, society, there are the companies, the successful companies that have the abundance and the ability to pay their employees well, which is why the majority of employees desire to work for those companies. All other companies are just jobs to get the job done. I know you've probably done that. There's a job, you need some money to pay your bills, so you just get a job at, say, McDonald's, or you do some Uber or some shit. You just get a job to pay your bills, all the while you're working to try to get that real good job at that company you really want to work for. But in today's market, what's happening is, I talked about how the employees, they see how women see other women as colleagues. They're trying to unionize to push the price up, to get paid more, to get better benefits. They're trying to unionize, keyword trying to unionize, to push the price up, to get the benefits. What's happening, however, it ain't working out. Remember how I said the colleagues, for numerous reasons. One, the colleagues, remember how I said they're shady towards one another? They're really just trying to get your spot? Well, you got the colleagues that are like, yeah, hey, the position that we both qualify for is only paying $50,000 with these standard benefits, but I know we can get $80,000 with these better benefits. Let's unionize. Strike. They go on strike. Y'all unionize. But guess what? Next day, she walking in there. She done got a job. And then they're looking like, wait a second. What the hell? We on strike because we're trying to get 80 with the better benefits. Well, guess what? The position was only paying 50. The company was like, hey, we'll give you 65. Thank you. She took it and ran with it. Y'all still out there fighting for 80. Y'all out there fighting for 80. She done went ahead and took the 50 and ran with it. The 65 and ran with it. Y'all still out there unionizing, trying to get the 65. Now, mind you, she can still have the standard benefits. She might have a little bit of better benefits, but she don't got that 80 with the really good benefits that y'all originally trying to unionize for. Nah, she just leveraged y'all to put pressure on the company. The company came back because the company's looking at that offer and like, yeah, we can't pay you 80. That's ridiculous, but hey, we'll do 55. She might have haggled a little bit, and they said, fuck it, we'll give you 65. Just get your ass in there and work. We need somebody. And she like, thank you. She leveraged the union. She leveraged the strike, and she got her position and ran with it. I mean, that's the shadiness of colleagues. How can you trust them? She got what she wanted, because really all along, while she was telling y'all, hey, y'all could really get 80, she was okay with 60. She was okay with 65. But all the while, she telling y'all, well, hey, we should be trying to get 80. Knowing good and damn well she ain't never had 80 all her damn life. But she worked the system. She got her 65, which was really what she really wanted, which is what she really knew she could get, and she ran with it. While y'all out there looking dumb, still trying to get 80. And she like, well, I mean, you could get 80. Just saying, I mean, there's a chance you can get 80. There's a company out there dumb enough to pay 80. Number two is for the companies that are dumb enough to pay 80. Those companies that are dumb enough to pay 80, they're operating at a loss. And if you know where this is heading, company that operates at a loss eventually goes bankrupt. So the ones that are dumb enough to pay 80, the companies that are dumb enough to pay 80, they're operating at a loss. They might have paid 80. Now, mind you, some employees might actually be worth the 80, but they might have paid 80 and the employee wasn't even worth the 80. The productivity wasn't there. It wasn't matching. Bankrupt. And now guess what? That employee got a taste of that 80 for that position. Yeah, she ain't trying to go back. She like, okay, that didn't work out. Well, let me get out here and get another one. I'm used to 80. I started 80. All the while, she don't realize she got lucky. She got a dum-dum that was willing to pay it, even though she wasn't worth it. Yep. Then you got number three. You got some companies, and this is the fucked up thing, too. They see y'all unionizing, trying to get to 80. Some, like I said, some of the shady ones got to 65. Some got lucky with some companies and got to 80, right? But some of them, they like, hey, fuck it. You know what? A good deal, actually. That's at least how they start off. You know what? They see these companies, CEOs. They looking at it, they like, you know what? It'd be real nice to be a CEO. Let me go in business for myself. Let me go in business for myself. If it don't work out, even though I'm pretty sure it will, if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back and get that job at that company later. So now you have an abundance of women thinking that way. Let me go out here. They either got the part-time job on the side while they're still trying to work for the company. You know, they still doing the union. They're still unionizing, trying to get that 80, right? Trying to get that 80 minimum, right? Or at the same time, they're like, let me go out here and work for myself, and I can probably outcompete the companies. What they don't see is they don't see all the work. They only see the play. People don't realize when you go in business for yourself, you take on all the risks of business. You have to put capital up. You have to take out loans sometimes. You have to leverage your abilities. You have to be good at what you do. Most businesses fail within the first year. They don't all succeed. Of course, I'm talking about real businesses, not those mom and pop, you selling nails and fingernails and all that crap. I'm not talking about those businesses, but yeah, most businesses fail, inevitably. Some last for years, some last for decades, some last for centuries, to be honest. A very few last for centuries. Or a century. There's some companies that started back in the 1800s. They're still up and running today. Few, but there are. But they see all the play. They see the car they drive, and they know the house. They see the lovely family, the smiling. They see all the good. They know they getting paid well, exceptionally well. They see all the pluses of the CEO, and then they're like, well, shit, I can do that. They think it's easier than what it really is, because they don't see how when they go home from the 9 to 5, because mind you, the company, the CEO, he's taking on all the risks. So when they're only working on the clock, the 9 to 5, when they go home, he's still in the office working. Yeah, he working 9 to 12. They don't see that. Or better yet, they working 9 to 5. He's working 8 to 12. He's there before and after. He's there before and after they get there and leave. Work an astronomical amount of time because remember, the company fails, it's his ass on the line. The company fails, the employees, they get their severance. They get unemployment. The company fails, he go bankrupt. He loses shit. He's recognized the risk, and because he took the risk, they reap the benefits for as long as they can manage it, and as long as they can keep it going, as long as whatever benefits or the however the market is, and there's markets change, opportunities change, and companies have to change and adapt to them. So yes, he working his ass off to keep that company afloat because guess what? If it doesn't work out, he loses shit. He is blamed for it is the management, it is the company owner or whatever that is blamed for the failure of the company if and when the company implodes or fails, goes bankrupt. It's on the management, it's on the owners because they're the ones that are supposed to make the decisions. There are some fucked up employees that cause lawsuits and stuff for companies at the detriment of the company, which that cause the company to fail. But like I said, the management hired that employee, and although that employee will be the reason or the cause of the failure of the company, they get the majority, the lion's share of the blame because they did something that the company told them not to do and they thought they knew better. Does that sound familiar? They thought they knew better than the company and they thought they could do better than the company. And then they fuck up and they cost the company big. Now the company's being sued or under libel or some legal issues and pending potential litigation and or bankruptcy because of the decision of a bad employee. That's why when you hire an employee, that's why it's that you do the background check and everything because you want the best employee. You don't want risky employees for your company. Companies know this. Shout out to those who work in HR, know how the hiring process works. It is important the employees you hire for the company because they can, even though, as long as Art of War, Sun Tzu, if you give a command and for some reason the job doesn't get done, you check the management, and when you know the management's on par, they're doing what they're supposed to do, then it's the employees or it's the soldiers. It's not the lieutenants or the of course, I'm referencing it, transposing it onto the company. So if you look at them at the management first, you give the order again. Okay, my management looks proper. They're relaying the order like they're supposed to. Why is the job not getting done? Okay, now it's the employees. So first, you look at the management. Whenever there's an issue, first you look at the management, make sure they're in line, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Then you look at the employees. Because remember, the employees they represent the company, but the company is the one that's putting their life on the line. They're the ones where if the employee fucks up, the company's name gets put out there. The company's at risk. That's true of any leadership. If you're the leader, it's your name on the line. Which is why you need to make sure that those that are following you are on point. They follow your commands to a T. They don't just go off and do their own shit. No, I asked you to do this because if you fuck up, that's my name you're fucking with. That's my integrity, my work history, my respect. You fuck up an order that I give you, they're going to be looking at me. And then what's the company going to do? Oh, well, it wasn't me. It was the employee. No, you're the company. Yes, the employee might have the lion's share of the blame, but guess what? This company will still suffer. There's PR for a reason. How people perceive your company. Now, they're looking at you and they're looking at the employees you hired and they're like, oh, that company's questionable now. Guess what? Now other companies might not want to deal with you because you're risky now. So the employees that go off and think they can do it on their own without realizing how much work it takes to put in for it, they're off bullshitting on the side. Somebody fucks around and hires them, and they're bullshitting, and they cost you and your company because they're half-assing it at your company because they're thinking they can go off and do it on their own. They can do it better than the company. They can start their own company without realizing all the real work and without realizing that when you do start the company, it's your name on the line. You take up all the risks. And there's a reason why the employees are employees. They like that safe, cushiony job where it's consistent income. Whether or not the company makes money, you better pay out that payroll. Ain't nobody trying to work for free. And you know what? Now that I've said that, I gave the three of the common reasons why. Those are three common reasons of what's going on today, and why that the strike or whatever that's going on, the unionized strike that's going on today is failing. But now I say, I'm kind of transitioning into the next point, which is how something real quick. Well, now I'm on the next point. So now I talk about that. I was talking about the gold diggers, that topic, right? And, employees don't work for free. Now, they did try to do something like that where it was like an IOU for some employees, during the pandemic or whatever. Some of that didn't work out well. I heard that some companies definitely finessed and they didn't pay out. So the employees virtually worked for free. But guess what? Of course, they're going to sue the company, of course, like they should. But employees don't work for free. Like, you don't hire an employee and then be like, hey, we're kind of tight. So we're not doing payroll this month. Oh, the fuck? The fuck you mean? Oh, you ain't doing payroll? I ain't doing work. Period. I'm not an intern. This position wasn't internship, wasn't unpaid intern. No, this was employment. And one of the things when you're an employee is in exchange for not taking on the risk of the company, you're supposed to be getting, as long as you're performing up to par and doing your tasks like you're supposed to, you're supposed to be getting paid as long as you're working at that company. Doing work at that company requires income. So even if the company's failing, you're supposed to be having a balance for your payroll, period. Ain't no employee trying to work for free. Which is why when I talk about the gold digger, I'm kind of having a bit of epiphany now. Why guys are so kind of torn apart with that, and why they really want that inherent value like women have, even though that's not how it works for us. And I believe it's because the guys kind of know they don't want to continue to have to perform at that high level. Meaning, if I was the top 1% to get her, in order to keep her, I need to stay in the top 1% and keep getting more and more and keep accumulating. I can't fail, or I can't, go under and then expect her to work for free, even though when I hired her, this was the payroll, this was the salary, and this was the benefits package. Now, some employees are good and they trust that company and they've built the trust and everything. They love that company so much, the company culture, all that. They've been to all the company functions, everything. They get in that company, which of course the good companies know how to do that. You know, there's a reason why they do those HR, you know, retreats and stuff. There's a reason why they do all those get-togethers to boost company morale and stuff, to make you feel like it's a family and everything like that. There is a reason for that. There's a reason why there's a market for that. It works because employees are willing to go above and beyond. It improves in performance. But the thing is, you can't expect an employee to just forego their salary because the company fucked up or the company's not doing well. No, it's on the management to get that income by any means necessary. Of course, legally. Recommended legally, of course. But similar to how JCPenney and them were suffering and going under, right? They didn't adjust to the market. So guess who suffered? They did, of course, and then also the employees because they had to get let go. But at the same time, it was on the management to make the changes to keep the company going. They were supposed to make the judgment calls to be like, hey, our pockets are getting thin. Let us change up the way we're doing things so we can generate this profit we need to keep the company going, to keep our employees that we have on payroll. Because it's on us to make the income to keep paying the employee we got, or employees. Yes, I said plural. And I'll explain why later. But you can't expect that you fuck up, or even sometimes the employee will fuck up. Sometimes. Yeah. It goes both ways. Look, you know, I already mentioned, you know, before that employees can fuck up some shit for a company. But the bigger the company, usually the harder it is to fuck up that company because they're just so big, you know, that essentially they're too big to fail, kind of. So usually the bigger, better, you know, the bigger company with better resources, it's a lot harder to make them fail. But yeah, I think some guys, they understand that, okay, if she's only with, they want to try to believe that they can get a woman on board with them outside of their resources. I get it. They tried it, you know, I get it. They want to try to do that. They want to try to make her respect his abilities and not just his productivity. I get it. But the problem is, because some guys, we kind of know there's up and down seasons. There's an up and down season. There's a reason why there's averages. You know, some years you're on, some years you're off. But the thing is, okay, if you get off and then you stay off, you cannot expect her to stay or try to continue to, you have to realize employees, now I told you about the risk that the company takes when they hire the employee. Well, guess what? If I've been working for a company for 20 plus years, I'm not looking to leave that company. But guess what happens? If that company up and does some dumb shit and then now they go under. I got hired in my 20s. Now I'm 40. What I'm going to look like in my 40s, mid 40s, late 50s or whatever? I didn't finish up my retirement at that company because they did something dumb and then they failed. What I look like going back out on the job market, starting all over again. Because I was set with that company. I had my retirement, my retirement, my pension pending, all that stuff was going up. I was getting ready for retirement within the next 5 or so years, and then the company up and failed. All that shit gone. The pension drained. We get a little bit of a severance. Now I got to go out here and find another job. See, the employee also takes a risk when they dedicate themselves to a specific company. They benefit when the company does well. They get bonuses and all that stuff. But at the same time, especially depending on how long they work for that company, if they're expecting to retire with that company, if that company fails before that retirement date, they're screwed. They are. They're screwed. So although they can kind of supplement, some are a little better, you know, depending on the skill set they have. Some can go and get another job, but it still might not have been ideal, as if that company would have just continued to operate, and then they would have been able to function within that company and retire with that company like they were supposed to. So yes, the employees also take a risk when they dedicate themselves to that company, because they expect to retire with that company. They entrust the management to keep the company going, because I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like job hopping. It gets a little tedious. You're always starting all over from scratch. Every company you get hired to, remember the whole benefits thing. Sometimes, depending on the way they work, the benefits don't kick in until a few months after you get hired. So just imagine you're jumping from company to company every year. You won't be able to really effectively save up for retirement. Also, you won't be that good of an employee. Some companies look at your work history and they're like, you've been jumping from company to company every year. So yes, it is good to stay. And mind you, even if you're jumping from company to company because that company failed, it still doesn't look good on your record. You know, it still doesn't. People like to look, okay, you've been working here for 5 or so years. You worked there for 10 years. You work, you've consistently gotten better and better and progressed instead of starting all the way over. You know, if you do hop from company to company, it's because you got a better position. Shout out to the monkey branchers. It's because you got a better position, and it was obvious why you did the move you did. You're not supposed to be moving sideways or down. I get it. But guys, I think sometimes the guys, they really want to kind of believe that or push that narrative, similar to how women are trying to push the price up. Give me a second. Similar to how women are trying to push the price up, guys are also trying to get free labor here and there. They're trying to alleviate their risk with the employees. Like, hey, we had a tough year this year. We'll give you an IOU and we'll pay you back. But we just need you to keep working. So essentially, we need you to work for free until we get back up to where we were. Nah, fuck that. I'm going to go find another job. That wasn't part of the deal. It just wasn't. So I do believe maybe that's why that whole gold digger narrative is pushed out there, and why the guys tend to kind of complain about that and they don't like it. Because in that reaction video I do on the crossover with Lorelei Lee, her character, of course she likes to spend money, but she only deals, like the guy she's looking to marry, he's got it. He's got it. And of course, he kind of knows he's expected to continue to have it and produce it every year until, retirement or death, whatever, right? So he's got it. But I do think some guys, they kind of know, like, okay, there's a risk I'm taking on here, because as soon as the money gets tight and gets thin, there's a chance that she's going to be looking for other employment. There's a chance of that. True, but here's the other thing on the back end, right? Just like that, where she might be looking for other employment as soon as things get tight because you're not able to pay her like the benefits is, they're not putting out like they're supposed to, right? Well, guess what? When the company does exceptionally well, there's no limit to the amount of employees, if the company knows how to manage the employees right. Oh yeah. If I'm a real big successful company, now sometimes you can be big, you don't need that many employees. It depends on the company. Depends on how the company's run. It depends on the management and everything of the company, right? But sometimes, if they desire, say I got Because mind you, every woman isn't like just one employee. You can kind of see every woman as like, if you were to rate them on the scale of 1 to 10, like say the 10s are worth 10 employees, and then, you know, every woman's worth their number, right? So say there's a guy, he's got the ability to pay for 100 employees. He's got the ability to play for 100 employees. He can get his 10. He's got his 10. That's 10 employees. He's got another 90 slots. Now, you know, within reason, usually companies don't max out because they know, like I said, you're taking on a risk. Things can go wrong. You need to kind of have a little bit of a, you know, you don't want to max out your payroll unless you really need to. So he might have 90 slots. He might be looking to fill 20 or 30 slots, right? It's up to him how he chooses to do so. However, on the other end, you can't work full-time for one company and work full-time for another company and then expect for your benefits and everything to increase. Especially if the task and whatnot for both those companies are drastically different. Not going to happen. I can't be going working at one company. My main company, I'm a nurse. Then I see another company, the pay is better and everything, and I got to be an electrician. Ain't no way in hell you going to work full-time for both those jobs. You got to retrain. You got to relearn the job. Some companies, they got it in the damn contract. You can't seek, you know, you can't work, you know, you have to work with them for a set amount of hours. Non-compete, meaning you don't work for your competition and everything like that. Some companies, they put it like, remember what I said about the contract? They set it in stone early. Yeah, you working full-time for us, you working with us. You can't work for our competitors. Not to mention, just imagine working for two very different companies. Each of them has their way of doing things. Each of them has their own rules. Eventually, you're going to fuck up in one of them. And it better not be the main company. Because if you fuck up at the main company, that's where you get your benefits from. And then now you gotta kind of hold on to that other company that you kind of working part-time or as a contractor at. Because mind you, no other company is going to hire you full-time if you already hired full-time. Not going to happen. You might get a contractor's position. You might get a part-time or PRN, but they're not going to hire you full-time. So imagine you fuck up at your main company. They're like, hey, we need your best, and we need your best. Now, mind you, you split yourself thin between two companies. You're starting to fuck up. You're tired. You're not able, your productivity suffers. And then they find out, oh, you're up here working 20, 30 hours at this other company. Yeah, you're fired. Here's your severance. Now you got to hold on to that other company that wasn't trying to hire you. They was just doing PRN work, part-time work, contractor work. And that, it doesn't work. Can't work full-time for two companies. And mind you, follow the analogy what I'm talking about, because what company is going to honestly look at an employee that's already working full-time with benefits and pay, and then you go and try and get another job at another company to work full-time, benefits and pay? They're going to look at your work history and everything and see that you're on payroll for the other company. I'm not talking about part-time contract. That's why I put that out there. Yeah, you can be one guy's wife and then a side piece to another dude. Yeah, you can't get married to two different people. But that company, they can put employees on the payroll. Of course, legally they can't marry. No. But they can contract the work out. Let's say you started off as 10 employees. You got so good. Now that guy that had 100 slots, now you take up 50 of those slots. You're now fulfilling the duties of 5 times what you initially was. Because remember, when you work at a company, you're supposed to get better at your job, better at what you do over time. Then you get better pay. You might get bonuses depending on the company, the benefits package. Remember, they might even pay for your vacation and stuff, right? But guess what? There's still another 50 slots. They can contract. They might hire some other contractors, temporary. Of course, there's only one of your positions. Like if I'm the CEO, there's only one COO. There's only one number 2. So of course, if I do hire another employee, remember I said there's levels to this. I can't hire two people for the same position, especially not a management position. No, she's gonna be up under you. She gonna be my assistant. You gonna be number 2, contributing to the company, managing, the workload and everything. Of course, because I'm the owner, operator, I'm going to be doing the lion's share of the work. But yes, you're going to be contributing to the company. And then I'm going to hire an assistant because I have the capital to do so. And depending on how good things go, there's no limit to how good the company, how many employees the company might be able to hire. Now, of course, each of those employees will have, like I said, their rank. You can't hire 2 people for one position. The question is, your position better be the better position. Because there's some savages out here, they will replace you. Especially if you don't got no kids, especially if you've only been together for a limited amount of time, like 2-3 years. He find another employee. That employee starts performing better than you. You start slacking or not improving. I'm just saying. You might get replaced. You might get replaced. But I like this analogy because you can use it many different ways. Many different ways. And it very closely, damn near perfectly relates almost exactly to the male-female dynamic when it comes to not just dating, but marriage and power. Because there's, against a big, powerful company, even if you're like the best COO, and that company really wants you, let's just be real, there might be a comparable COO that might be able to do the job. Maybe not as well as you, but they'll get the job done, and the company will be okay. So there's, yes, you can work yourself. You can get that skill set that makes you very lucrative for the best companies. But let's just be real. The leverage usually lies with the company because they're looking to fill that position they have. You want to work for that company, but you want to become the best option for that company. So then they give you more, either benefits, better pay, and or, maybe some additional perks and stuff, right? Because they're trying to compensate you because they want to keep you if you're that worth it. The problem today with modern women, the reason why I say they suck at being gold diggers is because they don't do that. They don't have the skill sets to even fill that position. A lot of them is they got them mops and them buckets. They hired as janitors at best. They're looking to work for the big time companies, but they can't even fill the role. They don't got none of the skills to qualify for the role, which is why a lot of them is being put on internships. Some of y'all can't even get a contract. Some of y'all out here interning for free. Y'all working for free. Now, some are smart interns. They do a job. They do a good job. They show an ability to learn the skills of the job. Because mind you, companies do benefit, they like experience over just education. Shout out to the tech companies that have been doing that for the past 2-3 years, where they're like, yeah, education doesn't guarantee performance, and then they're like, yeah, we kind of prefer, people that show a little initiative and ability to perform versus just having the degrees and stuff, right? So yes, if you're smart, you could be the intern and work your way into that position, then work your way up the company, and then guess what? Shout out, you now COO. You're now the number two. If you play your cards right, you could become the number two. But most women today, they out here interning, they contracting, temporary work. They ain't even trying to put in the work to really work their way up to that number two position for the companies they say they want to work for. They ain't even learning the job skills. Instead, what they're trying to do, they're trying to unionize to get the company to increase the pay and lower the burden of performance. That is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Will not happen. Will not happen. Because those jobs, remember how I said you will never have all unionizing. There will only be a few, but get this. Unionizing usually works for the jobs in the middle. It usually doesn't work for the top positions because there's significantly fewer positions at the top. And then the women that are able to get those positions usually get them anyway. So the funny thing is, even the companies, these women, which are average, above average, cute, pretty, that kind of thing, even they want that job that the 8s and 10s get, right? But they don't qualify for it. And guess what? There are enough 8s and 10s to actually fill those positions anyway. It's just up to the job whether or not they want to contract. They want to hire a certain amount of contractors or get a few interns. Because I know some jobs out here, y'all shady as fuck. Y'all be trying to get as much free labor as you can. They be hiring a bunch of interns to do their work and shit. Some of y'all shady as fuck. trying their hardest not to pay no damn body. They say, hey, let's just deal with all these interns. We ain't trying to pay shit. Oh man. They say, we ain't trying to pay shit. Let's hire all these damn interns. They out here. But yeah. So this yeah, I can do a lot. I can play a lot with this. But I do like this analogy because it's very easy to relate it to a lot of what happens in the dating market. And when it comes to marriage, the power dynamics. So I'm going to be using this going forward until it's broken. Until it's broken. But I have yet to run into a scenario where it is broken. So I'm Joel. This is the Purpose Driven, where I drive with a purpose. Till next time.